Good morning. My name is Mark Markell. I'm the Dean of the UW School of Veterinary Medicine. I want to welcome our class of 2021, their families, their friends, their loved ones, and all of our faculty and staff to the 2021 virtual investiture ceremony. I can't tell you how proud all of us are of all that you've achieved, particularly this past 14 or 15 months, but throughout the 4 years that you spent at the School of Veterinary Medicine. We're here virtually to celebrate that success and the completion of your 4th year and welcoming you into this amazing profession. I also want to thank you for the important clinical care you provided this past year, the care you provided to all of our patients in the hospital, their owners, and all that you did to help make them better medically, but also assure and help their owners go through very difficult times. I also want to highlight and thank the class of 2021 for your gift, where you raised funds for what we call WisCares. WisCares is the Wisconsin Companion Animal Resources, Education, and Social Services Organization, a part of the School of Veterinary Medicine, which is an outreach organization to serve individuals of Dane County. In particular, it provides veterinary medical care, housing support, and advocacy, and other support services to Dane County pet owners who are low income and are currently experiencing or at risk of homelessness, as well as those who are unable to pay for veterinary medical needs or access to housing. Thank you for donating to WisCares. Your class gift to this organization will have a lasting impact on our patients that we treat there and their owners through those that utilize those services. And I view WisCares as a critical component of all of our students' education. The overwhelming majority of our students spend a rotation out in WisCares to really help serve the underserved in Dane County and Madison. This past year has been a challenging one, as we all know. You began your 4th year with the first 2 months actually totally virtual. Fortunately, by the first week of July, we were able to come back into the clinic and be in person for the overwhelming majority of services, or at least be hybrid in a couple or a few. And I know it's been a challenging time, but it's a testament to your perseverance, your mental toughness, and your passion for this profession that you made it through successfully and that you're here today. And so I want to just congratulate you on that success and wish you all the best in the coming years as you enter this amazing profession. Following today's ceremony and this afternoon's ceremony in Camp Randall Stadium at 4 o'clock, we welcome you into the veterinary medical profession. And as you'll do today, you'll take the veterinary medicine oath. I'll deliver it again this afternoon, actually, at 4 o'clock. And a few of you, a couple of handfuls, I delivered it to you over the last couple of days. So you'll have an opportunity to maybe memorize it after all those experiences. So it's now my privilege to introduce Dr. Max McCackey, a member of the class of 2021, to provide some opening remarks and introduce our speakers of the virtual investiture event. Max?
Thank you, Dean Markell. Welcome. Good morning, everyone. It's been a unique challenge, as you highlighted, being online. 4 years ago, if you told me that you'd get your graduation ceremony from a bunch of talking heads through the internet, sitting at home in your pajamas, I don't know what I would have said. I don't know what you would have said, but here we are anyways. We've got a great program for you today lined up with a lot of people who have put a lot of effort into preparing for this. Those that won't be speaking, other clinicians, other faculty, other staff, thank you so much for everything you did to accommodate us this year. It has been, like I said, a unique challenge, but we've really grown closer together in a time of this social distance, and I truly appreciate everything that everyone's done. I just want to take this personal moment to thank my parents, who have definitely supported me for so many years through this big project that has been becoming a doctor of veterinary medicine. And with that as well, I'd like to welcome my actual clinical advisor, Dr. Lydia Alvarez, to give her remarks here today. Dr. Alvarez?
Thank you, Max. Congratulations to each of you in the class of 2021. You are doctors. You have accomplished an amazing feat and have found the courage and resilience deep inside you to continue on, despite what often felt like insurmountable obstacles over these past 13 months. Thank you for inviting me to speak with you this morning. I feel so fortunate to have gotten the opportunity to know you over these past 4 years, and I too wish this was in person today. I know many of you are nervous that due to COVID, you hadn't had the full year on the clinic floor to sharpen your skills. Please know that I was blown away by how well each of you did on clinics. You embraced every moment you had, not wasting a single day. And you have the knowledge and skills you need to succeed. Now, all you need is experience. This is an exciting and terrifying time for all veterinary students, regardless of their graduation year. And generally, this transition is not taking place in the middle of a pandemic. I, for one, was not sure what I was going to do or where I was going to practice for a few months after graduation. I wanted to pursue an internship at the Royal Veterinary College in London, but was not accepted. So I had to go out and find a job. And for many of you today, prepare yourself. The first year out in practice is hard. As you found when you work through clinics, changing from studying and taking tests to putting things together as a doctor is exhausting. There's rarely only one correct answer in medicine, and no Scantron tests. So much of what we do clinically is pattern recognition. As most of you know, I often say, don't overthink it when we're talking through a case on primary care. But I know how difficult it is when you haven't seen a lot yet. I remember when I was on primary care in school and I saw a healthy puppy come in with a little bloated abdomen. My first differential was intussusception. I overthought it. That was incorrect in so many ways. It turned out to just be worms. The good news is that every time you see something as a doctor, when you see it in practice, the next time you see it, it will be easier. And next year can't be as challenging as these past 13 months have been. So it's all about perspective. Over the past year, like many of us, I have been struggling to make it through the profound additional stresses brought on by the COVID pandemic and national turmoil. To cope, I've finally been setting aside time to train my brain and way of thinking through mindfulness practice and learning a lot about adversity and purpose. We can all grow from adversity. Our greatest struggles have the potential to create the most profound transformation in our lives. These are the moments where we can discover a tremendous reservoir of inner strength and resiliency. So I'm going to take a moment here to define purpose. Purpose is a central life aim that gives us a sense of meaning. And we can have more than one central purpose. Being a veterinarian, a mother, an active citizen. These are things that evolve and grow over time. We are veterinarians. We know a lot about goals, but purpose is not just a goal. It's deeper than that. It's the underlying motivation that defines our goals and makes them feel worth doing. So back to my story. So I was working as an associate veterinarian in general practice in Chicago for about 2 years when I was getting the hang of it. However, I started to feel like I was missing something. I began to look into different practices in the area, but ultimately decided to move to Seattle. I worked in 2 different practices there, but still did not feel like I was where I should be. I was discouraged. I wanted to be a vet since I was 8. Why wasn't this feeling right? At that time, one of the doctors I worked with had advised me, it's okay. Finding the right practice is like finding your life partner. It often takes some dating before you land in the place that's best for you. So ultimately, I decided to take a risk and applied for a rotating internship to pursue an internal medicine residency. This was over 3 years since I had graduated, and I reached out to a faculty member in vet school for a reference. So I'm going to give you a side note here. Veterinary medicine is a small profession. You are now a UW grad, and we know you well. Please reach out to us for help whenever you need it. So, with my recommendations, I was accepted into the program. And now, for many of the rest of you, here's hard news number 2. Your internship year will be exhausting. But I made it through and I learned a ton. And with a husband and plans for a family, I decided on a different path, a 1-year position at UW-Madison as a clinical instructor, teaching primary care while I figured out what I wanted to be when I grew up. And unlike the previous career choices, the feeling like I was missing something after a year or two hasn't happened yet. And I've been here for over 13 years. So if you're unsure of exactly what you want to be when you grow up, that's okay, whether it's now, in a few years, or in 10 years. Know that there's a good chance you will find yourself needing more challenge, or unhappy at your current employment, or just needing a change. When you find yourself in this state, please keep these possibilities in mind. Maybe you'll find certain aspects of clinical work that you want to specialize in, either officially through a residency program or excel in through continuing education. Is your passion dentistry or surgery or business management? Keep your eyes open for other clinics that may suit you better in a different town, state, country, or start your own. Look outside clinical practice. Consider industry, government, research, or teaching opportunities. Join a local VMA or consider ABVP, or start volunteering and helping to create your own WISCARES. Or maybe your central purpose you're missing or have been neglecting is outside of being a veterinarian. Should you be focusing more on being a partner, a parent, a sibling, a friend? Do you need to travel more? Do you have an interest or hobby you've been neglecting? If you find you're unhappy or missing something, please just promise me that you will not remain unhappy. This profession can be difficult. So keep your purpose close to your heart and intentionally live your life with that motivation to achieve whatever goals you create. We have all risen through a pandemic. There's something called post-traumatic growth, where one can discover profound personal transformations after a hardship. This reappraisal forces us to rethink our life and priorities, to reflect on what's truly important. So as a result, due to COVID, we may discover a clarity of purpose that we've missed before. This ability to reframe our thinking is a skill. It's something we can learn and practice, similar to so much of what we do to be practicing veterinarians. The hope is that if we equip ourselves with the right skills, they will be there when we need them the most. After 18 years of being a veterinarian, veterinary medicine is still challenging. I guess that's my hard news number 3 for today. I still have to look stuff up and brainstorm with colleagues, as most of you know when you work up cases with me. But I absolutely need that challenge. I have found clarity and a central purpose with my family as a mother and wife, mom to my fur babies, daughter, sister, friend, running partner, and soccer teammate. And every day I wake up and love going to my job. I get to build lifelong relationships with clients and their pets, keeping their furry loved ones healthy as they bring meaning to lives through their human-animal bonds. I get to collaborate with super smart colleagues about cases and perform research. I get to help create and grow community outreach clinics through my work with WISCARES. And finally, I get to do what I can to help vet students prepare for their careers ahead. Thank you for being a part of my purpose for these past 4 years. I wish you all the happiness in the world. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that message, Dr. Alvarez. And thank you for helping me develop my purpose over these past 4 years as my advisor, and all the way to writing letters of recommendation for me to help me get my first job. And I really hope to keep my mind open as we start this journey together with my classmates. Up next, I'd like to introduce one of those classmates, Dr. Marie Bucko. She's pre-recorded a message for us. Dr. Marie.
Thanks, Max. It was the warm, sunny day of August 23rd where we eagerly stepped foot onto the ground of the UW Veterinary School to start our first day of orientation. It was here that we gathered at the soccer fields across the street to play icebreaker games, meeting each other for the first time, and then hustling over to Day Joke for lunch. I remember thinking that it felt like a dream come true, and also this weird summer camp at the same time. Then anatomy started, and the summer camp vibe was quickly replaced with our bone boxes, cadavers of intense studying, and wondering how we could possibly learn all the bony prominences and muscle attachments that we needed to. In fact, when we migrated to the lecture halls to meet all of the faculty and staff, I remember Dr. Sullivan assuring us that vet school goes by fast. And I also remember thinking to myself much of that first year when that was actually going to kick in. Our education continued becoming more dynamic as many of us took on leadership positions in our clubs. We learned all about the bug, the beast, and the business, or even learning how to start having a school life balance when we would celebrate our accomplishments at the Blue Moon with Dr. Collins after our back T exams. I'm not sure about you, but I always looked forward to our time in ClinPath with Dr. Young and her giggles and her uniquely odd Russian Jeopardy facts that were just seemingly dropped into the middle of lectures. I'd like to think it provided a bit of a healthy reprieve from the parade of drugs, increased cortisol levels, and the wrinkles that pharmacology provided us. After one of our anesthesiology exams, in fact, realizing how much we did or didn't know about full or partial mu agonist opioids, outside of 2350, a fourth-year student captured vet school pretty perfectly. And he said, "I'm not sure if vet school gets harder or busier, or if we just get more numb to it. Probably a little bit of all of it." Our class experienced a time of change really during this period, as some of our peers left to pursue dreams near and dear to them, and we gained many new classmates and friends as we transitioned into our third year. We started the real courses, as we would say, and embarked on the journey of junior surgery. Many of our fur babies actually joined our families during this time as well. And it was during that year that our classes really began tying everything that we learned. And I remember the roller coaster of emotions, of feeling this is finally making sense, to also the overwhelming feeling of trying to keep up with all of it drinking from a fire hose. That's my cat. But then I remember looking at the first years and remembering that when I was at that stage in my education, when we were all first years, I had no idea what propofol was, and that I really have come a long way, and we all have. Before we knew it, just starting our last semester of didactics, we were all sitting in the lecture hall when we all received the infamous email or badger alert saying that classes will no longer be in person. And heading into clinics virtually, and now surviving fourth year in a pandemic, it was really no small feat that we accomplished if you think about it. I remember the first day of small animal internal medicine rotation. I was peed on holding a Yorkie, had anal glands expressed on me by a St. Bernard, wondering why I was doing this to myself. But clinics continued, and I watched all of us grow in our skills and become bona fide doctors. Think about it. We adapted to one of the craziest years of our lives. We rose to the challenge along with our educators and succeeded in the face of a pandemic. The last several years in vet school provided the buffet of emotions for each of us. The laughter, the sleepless nights, the uncertainty. I'm really trying to be serious here, but my cat is just not providing it. So we had a lot of emotions. We experienced the fear, the laughter, the sleepless nights, the uncertainty, the joy, wanting circumstances to really be different, especially with the pandemic, seemingly robbing us of the happy ending that we've been working so hard towards. And there were probably times along the way when you wanted to quit. I know I did. But think about the things that kept you going. What were they? Was it taking a hot shower, going to our onesie parties, having a good workout, or a drink watching mindless TV, or even having a meal with family and friends? Whatever it was, what counts the most is that you took that time for yourself. Vet school's hard, and the rest of our careers will be filled with many of the same stresses. Hopefully not a pandemic, though. But through this, we've learned and still are learning how to prioritize our own health and well-being in a way that's productive. Those same skills that you built and the people around you that supported you, and probably in the room with you right now, through vet school will equip you for the rest of your life. These years have honestly transformed the lens through which I look at life. and I suspect your lens has also been changed. The best description of what my new lens looks like comes from C.S. Lewis in his story of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. You might have heard of it. He wrote, "People who have not been in Narnia sometimes think a thing cannot be good and terrible at the same time. I now know, deep in the core of my spirit, this clash between the good and the terrible. And my friends, the UW class of 2021, you know this too. You know the tension between the good and the terrible. And by being here today, we get to celebrate our class together and the journey that everyone has shared over the past 4 years, prevailing. There are so many experiences that you can share that are worthwhile to take a moment and remember. How about when you received that long-awaited acceptance letter to vet school 4 years ago? It didn't matter what else happened. You knew that you were going to be a vet. And how about stepping onto campus the first day and met the people that you're going to be spending the next 4 years with? I bet you had no idea what they would mean to you now. Our first anatomy exam, or your first surgery, your first day of in-person clinics, and adapting your skill set to a pandemic. Remember how those days felt. Those are the shared experiences that brought us here. And those are the days that made us veterinarians. This characteristic of resilience about us, about you, is what will carry you into this next season of your life. Whether that be a rotating internship, general practice, residency, policy making, research, or anything else, you will be your own best advocate. With resilience in mind, some of the greatest advice that I received that I want to share with you is this. Align your personality with your purpose, and nobody can touch you. Congratulations, class. We did it. We are finally veterinarians. Did you hear that? Say it with me. We are veterinarians.
Thank you so much, Dr. Marie, and thank you for that appearance from your lovely cat as well. We are finally veterinarians, aren't we? It's been an honor to grow alongside you and go through this journey that you took us down those many, many years, remembering some of those fond memories and also some of the less fond ones. It will be my pleasure to see how you continue to benefit this profession and how the rest of our classmates continue to benefit this profession. I'd like to bring on Lynn Mackey to tell you a little bit about the rest of our classmates and introduce them as well. Dean Mackey.
Thanks, Dr. McCackey. Nice to see you today. Hello, everyone. Nice to see you all out there virtually. Welcome to a beautiful, beautiful morning. I'm here today to present the members of the class of 2021 during this morning's virtual ceremony. The Investiture ceremony is a process of confirming the individual graduates of this class of 2021 as part of the veterinary medical profession. Placing of the hood over the graduation attire is meant to symbolize the acceptance into the profession. During the next part of our ceremony, we are going to read the names of each of our graduates in the class in alphabetical order by last name. You can find a list of graduates on the event webpage or in the printed program, which was shared with each of the students this past week. Graduates, when your name is read, we invite you to stand and place your own hood over your shoulders, or to ask a friend or family member to place your hood over your shoulders, and therefore celebrating your acceptance into the veterinary medical profession. So with that, I have a little bit of music. All right. Dr. Cassidy Lynn Alvarez. Dr. Marit Bakken. Dr. Kimberly Barris. Dr. Megan Berry. Dr. JC Benzing. Dr. Emily Bisoni. Dr. Katie Bogner. Dr. Kirsten Brown, Dr. Marie Bucko, Dr. Preston Cernick, Dr. Corey Chan, Dr. Tiffany Chen, Dr. Jenna Kristen, Dr. Clara Cole, Dr. Dana Dai, Dr. Zachary Desmoulins, Dr. Devin Delalo, Dr. Shannon Drexler, Dr. Miranda Elliman, Dr. Anna Engel, Dr. Melissa Farquhar, Dr. Dustin Fink, Dr. Sarah Fisher, Dr. Shauna Fortuna, Dr. Kayla Frederick Kuhn, Dr. Jennifer Gajeski, Dr. Maggie Gardner, Dr. Samantha Geiger, Dr. Eric Goslin, Dr. Kylie Grady, Dr. Emily Gregg, Dr. Nathan Gressa, Dr. Jenny Gross, Dr. Rebecca Haber, Dr. Amy Hanschel, Dr. Tina Harasha, Dr. David Hardesty Jr., Dr. Olivia Harris, Dr. Michaela Hawbaker, Dr. Stephanie Heim, Dr. Jillian Claire Hickey, Dr. Abby Hines, Dr. Michelle Hintz, Dr. Jordan Hollitz, Dr. Katrina Hurst, Dr. Connor Jacobson, Dr. Megan Jass, Dr. Alyssa Jenkins, Dr. Haley Johnson, Dr. Sarah Knox, Dr. Nicole Kuha, Dr. Nathan Lattis, Dr. Adam Leopold. Dr. Kira Little. Dr. Christopher Ross Lipke. Dr. Priscilla Marquin. Dr. Laura Martinelli. Dr. Jennifer Matthey. Dr. Hannah Mashethi. Dr. Maxwell McCackey. Dr. Kayla Miller. Dr. Caroline Mitchell. Dr. Adrian Mulholland. Dr. Brady Meyer. Dr. Taylor Naif. Dr. Greta Johanna Otten. Dr. Emily Paulson. Dr. Abby Pendergast. Dr. Megan Perkins. Dr. Robert Phillips. Dr. Krista Qualley. Dr. Leah Richter. Dr. Stephanie Reinhardt. Dr. Desiree Rivera Elias. Dr. Brady Rose. Dr. Destiny Ross. Dr. Nicole Rusotto. Dr. Vanessa Santana. Dr. Zoe Schaefer. Dr. Ellen Schneider. Dr. Cassidy Schultz. Dr. Melissa Shear. Dr. Melissa Sheth. Dr. Morgan Seward. Dr. Catherine Swore. Dr. Megan Sweppenheiser. Dr. Talia Severson. Dr. Deanna Tice. Dr. Brian Turkoff. Dr. Matthew Thomas. Dr. Ashton Townsley. Dr. Margaret Vernick. Dr. Emma Wagner. Dr. Kimberlyn Warchowski, Dr. Marlise Weber, Dr. Austin Wink, Dr. Allison Westholm, Dr. Dylan Whitaker, Dr. Jordan White, congratulations to the class of 2021. With this, I'm going to turn it back to Dr. McCackey.
Thank you, Dean Mackey. Can't believe it's been about 5 years since we met at the vet school open house so long ago. Thank you for being such a leader through this whole journey that we've been on. It's really nice to see all my classmates, the bottom half of their faces again too. I miss you guys from the lecture hall, seeing you every day. We've been kind of on our own little journeys through clinical year, and I really wish you all the best of luck in the future. Now I'd like to invite Dr. Calico Schmidt to lead us in our veterinarian's oath.
Hello, doctors in the class of 2021. Congratulations, and we're so proud of each of you. You've worked really hard and reached your goal of becoming a doctor of veterinary medicine, and we know the future of our profession is in wonderful hands with you. Our profession is a serving profession, and the oath you are about to take as a veterinarian affirms your willingness to serve both animals and people. So now I invite each of you to stand, raise your right hand, and repeat the veterinarian's oath after me. Are you ready? Being admitted to the profession of veterinary medicine, I solemnly swear to use my scientific knowledge and skills for the benefit of society through the protection of animal health and welfare, the prevention and relief of animal suffering, the conservation of animal resources, the promotion of public health, and the advancement of medical knowledge. I will practice my profession conscientiously, with dignity, and in keeping with the principles of veterinary medical ethics. I accept as a lifelong obligation the continual improvement of my professional knowledge and competence. Thank you, everyone. You may now be seated. And now back to you, Dr. McCackey.
Thank you so much, Dr. Schmidt. Now I'd like to introduce Dr. Devin Delalo as our class president and final student speaker today. Dr. Devin.
Thank you, Max. I'm going to start this off by saying what I say at the beginning of every single email you've gotten from me. Hey, everyone. I remember when I ran for class rep, I thought about how we were all going to become great veterinarians one day, and how I wanted to do my part in helping make that journey easier on everyone. Vet school is grueling. For the first 3 years, we had exams nearly every single week, on top of a ridiculous class load, learning new material every single day, plus jobs, extracurriculars, and just life in general. And then, during this past year, we've had to learn our clinical skills during a global pandemic. But vet school was also full of great memories, such as our anatomy professors singing the 12 days of cranial nerves to us, listening to the new song, Let's Get Down to Vegas, learning the equine GI tract Tai Chi, taking pictures with alpacas and goats dressed in holiday attire, learning that our first incisions were dope or whack, and dressing up as a class for Twin Day during Spirit Week. We've experienced many milestones while in school: our first surgeries, our first palpations, our first full physical exams, our first prescription written, and the list could go on. Thinking back on it now, I know I was right in saying that we were going to become great veterinarians one day. That day has come. We are graduating, and we are great veterinarians now. It has been a privilege to learn beside you and being able to call you my vet school family. There is no one else I would rather have gone through the last 4 years with. When I moved halfway across the country from Connecticut to go to veterinary school, I had no idea what I was getting into. When I got here, I learned just how kind and compassionate you all are, and I finally felt like I found where I belonged. Our class is so special and so much like a family. We have supported each other through the lowest of lows and the highest of highs. Now it is time to see where life will take each of us next. Even though we are going our separate ways, we will always have each other and the friends we have made for a lifetime. We did it! Congratulations, class of 2021. Back to you, Max.
Thank you, Dr. Devin. That completes most of our speeches today. I want to bring up Dean Mackey again for her final remarks and to close out the ceremonies, Dean Mackey.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Oh, you guys did it. This concludes the class of 2021 virtual investiture ceremony. Congratulations, doctors. We are so proud of you and honored to watch you throughout these last 4 years in attaining your dreams of becoming veterinarians. We want to also share with you all that there is an online message board that we've compiled for you with messages for you from the SVM community. So this includes faculty, staff, and alumni of the School of Veterinary Medicine. This online message board is linked through the SVM Investiture webpage, and we hope that you enjoy reading all of the best wishes and congratulatory messages. We certainly have had fun pulling them together. And knowing that you have seen some of the faces virtually and maybe in the last week cheering for you, but also knowing that you have this even bigger community here at the School of Veterinary Medicine that is also celebrating each one of you today as well and in the future. We hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope to see many of you this afternoon at Camp Randall, and so incredibly proud of you all. Congratulations.